Please, just talk. Do something. Make a contribution. Do something, god damn it. Fucking speak!
Love and leg drops, bitches.
Peace, love, and leg drops.
Peace, love, and leg drops.
Peace, love, and leg drops. We love to crop. We love to crop. Peace, love, and leg drops.
Peace, love, and leg drops.
Fuck you.
After Party Hangover.
Welcome to the After Party Hangover. I'm your host, Mangria Fueled, and this is the show that talks about a show that talks about a show. Today's guest, one of the 15% female demographic of the Still Real After Party listeners, Brittany Bomber. How's it going, Brittany?
It's going. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. How was your visit with your family?
Oh, so fun.
Is it all snowing up there and freezing and crazy?
No, not really. It's really cold. Where I live on the coast, we don't really get snow, and there wasn't really any. It was just rainy.
I love how Oregon's like mostly green, because down here in California it's mostly brown because of our pollution. But Oregon.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say Oregon is always pleasant.
Always. And it's funny, my dad actually found out that Oregon is the one state where the trees outpopulate the people.
Oh, I bet.
Have you been to Crater Lake?
No, I have been to Portland. I have been to Eugene, but we didn't really stay that long. It was mostly like pass through.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I love it up there.
Pretty fun.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's great when you don't have to pay sales tax.
Oh yeah, yep. That's a good bonus. All right.
Like, thank God.
Well, let's start off the Hangover like we do every episode. It's pretty straightforward, I'm guessing. Please explain to the peoples your Instagram name.
So, when I was like 21 or 22, one of my friends did a photo shoot for me, and he was like, you have to figure out like a name to use for your social media. And I was wearing a bomber jacket, and I'm like, Brittany Bomber? And he's like, perfect.
Oh, nice. So that's cool.
Nothing too exciting.
Well, I loved it. I thought it would be hard to get on social media having the last name Bomber. Like the FBI might be looking into you.
Yeah. My dad, I think it was my dad or what, somebody was like, aren't you worried that somebody's gonna, make mention that your last name is Bomber on here? And I'm like, no.
Yeah, you know how paranoid the government is. But hey, you got away with it. You've been on Instagram. It's all good.
Yeah, so far. I've gotten away with it so far.
Oh, we might have jinxed it, huh?
Yeah, knock on wood.
Damn. Okay, well, let's start from the very beginning. How did you get interested in wrestling? Who introduced it to you, or did you just catch it one day?
I remember vividly watching, it was like Monday Night Raw, and my dad would be watching it, and then I would have to go to bed before Raw is War.
Yeah.
And then watched that for a little while, and then, got out of it, and then when I got with my boyfriend, he sort of reintroduced it to me.
Yeah.
And I've been hooked ever since. Is
Raw your favorite show, SmackDown or NXT?
Honestly, I'm going to have to say NXT because when they did that NXT took over like Raw and SmackDown, the matches were better. Honestly, the talent was better. And I got to see Rhea Ripley, who is one of my favorites from NXT. So I was like, yes.
Yeah, you're talking to a massive NXT mark here. I love NXT. I've always loved what they've done. Triple H knows his shit, and Vince McMahon needs to wake the fuck up.
Oh, yeah, and the creative is so much better, too.
Yeah, and they give wrestlers time with their matches and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm so happy that Finn went back to NXT because I called it months ago. I'm like, he's going to get married, he's going to take time off, and then he's going to come back as a heel.
Finn is 10 times better as a heel than he was as a face.
Yeah. And I felt... Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, his entire NXT career and his entire main roster run, he was a face, smiling, looking all goofy. He did have good matches, and he was the very first ever Universal Champion. But heel Finn he trumps him big time.
Oh man, I just feel that honestly, he was being wasted, or his talent was being wasted. When he was in the main roster, like when he first got to the main roster, he was having quite a few matches and some pretty big matches. And then after a while, there was less and less of Finn. And I was like, what's going on here?
Well, yeah, he won clean over Roman Reigns. I don't know if you remember when he debuted on Raw, he took out Reigns. I believe he might have even taken out Daniel Bryan. I'm not sure. But how did you discover the Steel Real After Party podcast?
Truthfully, I think it was through Sam, that wrestling god now is what he goes by.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think Jake followed. I think I either followed Jake or Jake followed me, and then I ended up following. Is it Zenka?
Yeah, Zenka.
Yeah, and then I realized that they both kind of had the same sense of like the sick, twisted sense of humor that I do.
Yes.
And I was like, all right, these guys are cool. And then I actually started listening to their podcast, and I'm like, these guys are actually really funny.
So you were a fan of Sam before the Steel Real After Party?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah. And then I think I either followed you or you followed me, and then I was like, these guys are like my people.
Yeah. The Steel Real Army is a unique group of people.
Yeah, we're special, that's for sure.
Very, very special. How and when?
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, how do you listen to the podcast, and when do you listen to it?
I do, and a lot of the times it's when I'm walking to work.
Oh, okay.
And and I feel like a freaking idiot because one of the guys will say something funny, and then I'm like just laughing, and I'm walking past people, and they're looking at me like, what's wrong with you?
They're on their cell phone about to call the cops.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm just listening to a podcast, guys. Sorry.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite segment of the podcast? There's the recap. There's the Instagram questions, Chop Shop.
Oh, man. They're all so good, but I'm going to have to go with the Instagram questions.
Yeah.
There's some really fucked up questions that people are asking. I'm like, oh, my God, I love all of you.
It's fascinating to me. Believe me, it is very fascinating to get the female perspective on this, because I even asked Zenka, I was like, how many women actually listen to the podcast because all the stuff that comes out of their mouths? And he sent me the statistics. It actually is 15% women, and I'm fascinated. So anything you can tell me about your side of things and what you think of the podcast, I'm all ears.
Well, so my side of the thing is not all women are like pansies, and a lot of us are, I don't know, I'm into horror, and a lot of like some of my female friends aren't really into horror, and they don't understand, and I'm like, it's just kind of like, I don't know. I'm like, if I had a really bad day at work and I come home and I play a violent video game or watch a horror movie, I feel like a lot better, and then I guess that is, I don't know. I have a hard time explaining it.
That's you play video games?
Dude, hell yeah, I play video games.
Shit.
I love playing. Honestly, like the zombie killing games.
Resident Evil and.
Yes.
Yeah.
Left 4 Dead 2 is the one that I'm currently hooked on, and I keep dying right before I get to where my characters need to be, and I'm just like, son of a. All right, it's cool. My
sister was obsessed with Left 4 Dead 2. I was obsessed with the first one, but a running joke in our house is we go room to room and go, reloading, because that's what they say when you reload in the game. They shout out, reloading.
Well, I'm like, we can hear you. Shut up.
Yeah. Speaking of video games, I'll just jump ahead then. Did you play any of the WWE video games?
I'm trying to like get into playing the games. I just feel like if me and my boyfriend play, my boyfriend won't let me win, so...
Hey, you got to earn it. No.
Yeah, I know. Dang it. I am thinking of getting us both the recent WWE one. I'm not positive if I'm gonna get it.
Well, out of curiosity, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Have you watched one episode of APPW? That's the After Party Pro Wrestling on the Steel Real After Party YouTube page?
No, not yet. I've been trying to get caught up on this, all of their podcasts, and then it's just like it's an overload sometimes, and I'm like, okay, I'll get to this next week, or I'll get to this tomorrow, and then I forget where I'm at, and then I'm just so discombobulated, I'm just like, I give up.
Well, when it comes to the female roster on APPW, it's slim pickings because I believe we only have Chyna and Dana Brooke fighting for the APPW Women's Championship like every week. So if we added you to because I mean the APPW has all of us. It has Sam, Andy, me, Jake, Zanka, all the characters from the podcast are in the Wrestling Federation. So if we added Brittany Bomber to the female roster, what moveset would be your favorite of any wrestler, male or female?
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
What?
Yep.
The stunner and all? The entrance?
Oh my god, yep.
Oh, wow. Is that your favorite song of all time, theme song? Or do you have a different one?
His is, oh my god. I've seen so many memes about like when you, wrestling, where it's like, when one of you hears a glass shatter, you just like look at each other, and you're all like, oh, hell no. And that's like, and honestly, I watched wrestling a lot during the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
And, oh my god, my brothers and sisters and I were kind of rough with each other. And, sometimes we would like beat each other up just because. And, we would, I believe we would take a mattress from one of their beds and like pretend to like tombstone pile drive someone or, elbow drop someone.
Brittany hits the stunner! Brittany hits the stunner!
Yeah! No, it's honestly, to be perfectly honest, I would probably pull off a better stunner than Kevin Owens.
Oh, shit. The gauntlet has been laid down, Kevin Owens, if you're listening.
Boom. Oh, don't put that evil on me. I don't have to come into my work like, you think you can stun better than me?
So you love Stone Cold's moves, you love his theme song, but who is your favorite wrestler of all time?
Ooh,
That's including AEW, that's including ROH or Impact, if anyone watches that.
Oh my god, that sucks because they're so, like, I really love the King of Horror from ROH.
Oh, yeah, he just had a match, right?
What's that?
He just fought Taven, didn't he, over the weekend?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't really watch it, but I heard things.
Jesus, AEW, that's... Oh, it's a two-way tie between Kenny Omega and the bad boy Joey Janela.
Oh, wow.
NXT, it's Rhea Ripley, hands down.
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, yeah, Rhea Ripley, because she's a badass. I was going to say Finn, but that's like... That would be... two-way tie is going to be... On NXT is going to be between Rhea and Finn.
Finn.
And... For, like, main rosters in the WWE, it's really hard. I'm really starting to love Rusev.
Oh, what do you think about this storyline that's been going on? Do you think it's helping him, or do you think it's hurting him?
I think for Rusev, it's helping him because it's pushing him and it's making him a bigger face. For Lana, I'm like, this is regurgitated. Wasn't she like that when she was with Dolph?
Dolph, yep.
But I heard that Rusev is all about that storyline, so I'm like...
I heard they came up with it. Rusev and Lana came up with it. I don't know how they got Bobby Lashley to agree with it because he's married and has kids too. I'm shocked he's doing this.
Yeah, and I wonder how much they're getting, if they're getting paid more to do this, because there's some uncomfortable moments between Lana and Bobby, and I'm like, ugh.
But like Jake and Zanka said, I mean, we hate it and it makes us cringe, but the YouTube numbers are through the roof. So they're seeing those numbers and they're like, well, I guess they're doing something right.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with you on that, because if their numbers are going up, regardless of whether it's like TV ratings or like on YouTube, good for them.
I have another fully loaded question to ask you.
Oh gosh, shoot.
Favorite match of all time?
I actually, like 6 or 7 months ago, went back and watched the Mankind versus Triple H. It was the match where Mick didn't want his family to watch.
Oh, the I Quit match? Or
Yes.
I think the I Quit match was Rock versus Mankind. He hit Mankind in the head like 100 times with a chair, and his kids were in the audience. Triple H fought Mick Foley in a street fight at the Royal Rumble in the year 2000, which was pretty brutal as well.
I think that's the one.
That's the
there's so many good ones. It's hard.
Mick Foley's his matches over the years have been so groundbreaking, and they stand out so much. Like even the one, I don't know if you remember this one. This is a way back one when he fought Shawn Michaels, and Mankind came off the top rope with a chair, and Shawn Michaels super kicked the chair in his face. Do you remember that one? That was like a In Your House, like way back in the day.
Maybe.
It's just really impressive the body of work Mick Foley has put together. But yeah, I agree with you. That was an incredible match. Do you like?
And go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. It's okay.
There's a reason why Mick Foley is called the hardcore legend, because he literally put his body through the literal like physical pain and like scarring, and it's like he's lost his teeth. Like what? Didn't his teeth go through his like lip or something?
He has dedicated his body, his life, his time, everything to this business. So he needs to be a statue that comes out next year's WrestleMania. Probably missing some teeth, but he'll have a statue.
Or create like some kind of hardcore legend match.
Something like that. Do you like?
Because they got the Royal Rumble and they got the Andre the what? Do they still do the Andre the Giant?
Oh yeah,
Battle Royal thing.
Yep. Do you like gimmick matches, like ladder matches or table matches?
Oh, I love TLC matches.
Is that your favorite gimmick?
I like a lot of the Falls Count Anywhere and No Holds Bar matches are the ones that I really, really love. I just like, honestly, I like the how can I word this without sounding stupid? The gorier, I guess, the matches get, the better.
The brutality.
Like if you're not bleeding.
If you up the brutality, that's it's a lot more entertaining, especially if they don't blade anymore. But when they do bleed on accident, for some reason, that makes the match better.
Yeah, I mean, there's been several matches where, like, I think, Sasha's had several nosebleeds. People have had, like, busted lips.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yep.
Like that. So there's that Kenny Omega versus John Moxley match where...
Oh, my God. That was brutal, man. The barbed wire, the suplex onto the barbed wire bed. My God, that looked painful.
I was just like, holy crap, they're dead.
Yeah. I hope they got fat paychecks that day because they earned it.
Oh, yeah, they did. Holy shit. I was like, oh, I feel for you guys. That sucks.
Well, now we're going to blow some smoke up Sam, that wrestling guy's ass. I want you to put Sam over because I know you're a big fan of his. Tell me what you like about him, how you started liking him, and what are your favorite videos of his.
I really enjoy how different his content is every time. He genuinely puts a lot of time and effort into it, and he's an all-around just funny guy. And with his wrestling god gimmick, I'm hoping the content is better than that wrestling guy's content, because this new gimmick he's got is dark, and I'm really, really loving it. So, let's all start liking and following and sharing his content, because he is a genuinely badass dude.
I noticed that you were one of the people chosen to make a Save TWG video. How did you feel when he asked you to make one?
Super honored. I was like, dude, I got your back. Like, I will totally do this for you.
What are your thoughts on Andy with an I?
It's a love-hate friendship,
Yeah.
so to speak. I gained a lot of respect for him when I found out that he is is he still serving, or he's a military veteran?
Yeah, he's still serving.
And I wished him a happy Veterans Day, and I thanked him for his service. And I was like, all right, you're cool, but I still hate you.
Well, just to add something to your schedule of wrestling themed stuff to listen to, not only is there the Still Real After Party, but there's the After Party Pro Wrestling, there's this show, the After Party Hangover, and Andy with an I just debuted his very own show called Still Real Pregame. He does it before pay-per-views. He's going to talk to the Still Real universe and ask for predictions. The first episode dropped on the YouTube page. It's very good. Go ahead and take a listen. He interviews his wife on there. Very interesting. They talk about wrestlers' fashion. It's very funny. So I strongly recommend listening to the Still Real Pregame on the Still Real After Party YouTube channel.
Hell yes, I'm down. I'll support, like, any of you guys.
I have one more question. Then we're going to move on to the podcast.
Yes.
I always wanted to ask a woman, because I asked the guys, if there was a secondary women's championship, because they have the Raw Women's Championship and the women's tag titles. If they had a secondary title, like say the guys have the Intercontinental or the US or the North American, what would you name it?
Oh, man.
What's something a woman could hold up and be proud of because it's called this certain thing? Should they just go back to the generic Intercontinental, or should it be something else?
Put, like, something with, like, some type of, like, women's Intercontinental, or... Because, like, it's cool to see that the men have it, but the women don't really get, like, Intercontinental Championship titles, or even, like... I mean, I'm kind of, like, bummed about the tag teams. I think, the Kabuki Warriors, I'm like, get them off.
Well, today where we might find out if Charlotte and Becky become the new women's tag championship. Oh, that's going to be kind of confusing because they're not an actual tag team, but, I mean, it'll shake things up, I guess.
Hey, man, Becky 2 belts. Yep. Or, like, something, honestly, a women's Intercontinental US, or some type of, with the title women's, is what I'm just trying to say. I guess it's, that's a good question.
Well, would you be opposed to them bringing back the Divas title and having that be the secondary title?
Oh, hell. Oh, man, bring it back, because I loved that belt.
Yeah, because women, they're not really offended to be called divas. I think Stephanie McMahon was just like in this woman power movement mood and like eliminated diva from the history of the business. But, you know, I mean, as long as they have a secondary women's title, I think it'll help all the other ones who aren't Ronda Rousey get a title.
Yeah. Seriously, bring the Divas title back.
It's possible, and it might happen.
Well, and honestly, like I said, I really liked the belt. It was very pretty and feminine, but still really badass.
Yeah, and like you said, aesthetically it looked great. So, and if the women aren't opposed to it, why not? You know.
It's truthfully, who gives a crap if you get called a diva?
Exactly. I mean, I don't. Do you get offended? Like if I called you a diva?
No, because if I'm acting like a diva, I'll own up to it.
Well, that's good to hear. Well, let's move on to the Still Real After Party episode 101, Back to Disappointment. We kick off the podcast with Zanka saying, "Wipe your lips and grab your dicks." Classic Zanka right there, opening line. And then he goes on to talk about his traffic problems. He says, "Shouldn't we be able to see the mangled corpse at the end of the traffic line? Do you do you want to see that? Like, if you're in a traffic line, there's a fatal accident. Do you want to see the body, or would you rather have it covered?"
You know, I'm really into horror and gore, but no, not like if it's a person or a former living creature.
Well, you know, Zanka has this morbid curiosity because I was listening to past episodes, and he not only talked about this, but he talked about funerals. He said he's disappointed if the funeral is a closed casket. He says he wants to see the body. So he has this weird morbid curiosity. I think it's funny, but it does come up every now and then on the after party.
Do you think he wants to secretly fuck a corpse?
I think he wants to kill Jake and just look at his dead corpse.
Oh my god!
I don't think he wants to fuck him sober, but we'll see what happens when he gets some tequila in him.
Oh god! Oh, gross.
Zanka also pointed out something unique I never caught wind of, but he said that Andrade and Zelina have matches, and like the very next segment, it's always Aleister. I never noticed that before, that they had their segments back to back, and their theory was maybe they had a hard out, like Zelina and Aleister had to leave after that or something. I thought that was pretty cool that he pointed that out because I had never noticed.
Huh. I'm gonna have to pay closer attention to that because I never noticed it either.
Whenever I think about Zelina or Aleister, I always just look at them like the most opposite couple of all time. Like, he's this tall, pale dude covered in tattoos, and she's this little short Latina chick who's feisty and, you know, is with Andrade. It's just weird to know that they're married.
They do say opposites attract, so maybe that's the case. And I honestly am like, Aleister isn't, bad looking, but it's like, yeah, she's just a fiery Latina. And she's stunning, like, holy shit.
She's very gorgeous. She has this very pronounced jaw that we made fun of on the podcast, calling her a velociraptor. But I mean, yeah, other than that, she's pretty stunning, like you said.
Oh my god. that was funny.
Do you think, who's the hotter couple? Zelina and Aleister, or Seth and Becky?
Oh man. I thought you were going to go with Andrade and Charlotte, but they weren't the options.
Yeah, talk about opposites, my god. Andrade and Charlotte?
Hey, whatever floats their boat.
I guess
as long
so,
as they're
man.
happy.
Yeah, they're backstage, so they get to know each other, and, sparks fly, so to each their own, I guess.
What didn't Charlotte also date Alberto?
Oh yeah,
or whatever.
Alberto.
But I'm gonna have to say Seth and Becky.
Oh, you like the ginger look?
Yeah, well, her hair isn't naturally that color.
Yeah,
so
I know. I just.
I'm sitting there like, because honestly, she looks really. No disrespect. I'm not gay by any means, but like, she is actually really, really pretty, and I'm just like, what the fuck, Becky? You could do so much better than Seth.
Exactly. She is smoking hot. And this is the after party hangover, so you know what kind of sense of humor that we all have. I think Becky needs bigger tits, but Zelina, if she was just a foot taller, I think she would be hotter. Just in my opinion.
Yeah. She would be able to walk down the ramp.
Yeah.
In heels a little bit better, because when she walks down the ramp, she looks bow-legged.
Well, plus...
Becky needs a little bit of a boob job.
Well, plus, if Zelina was a foot taller, she would be taken more seriously in in-ring competition.
Yeah, I always wondered how seriously she would be taken, because she's, like, tiny, and it's like... Man, I know that back in when what the fuck was she in? Was she in Lucha Underground as well?
I'm not familiar with that, but in NXT, she was, I believe she wrestled matches in NXT as well. She's good in the ring, and she puts out videos.
She
She puts out videos on her Instagram of her working out with Aleister. Like, she looks like a badass. I hope they give her an opportunity in the future to compete again.
Yeah, me too. Because honestly, I want her to at least be given a title run shot, because it'd be cool to see a Latina holding a title belt.
Well, shit, Lana got an opportunity for the title before Zelina. I don't think that's fair.
No, okay, I don't want to sound like no, I'm trying not to sound like a bitch, but Lana should just go back to being basically arm candy, because
Yep.
I know she's an actress, she's actually a trained actress, but it's like, when she's trying to like do a promo in the ring, it's like, it's not working. She stumbles, she just rambles on, and it's like, really, can you just not be a mouthpiece anymore, or just go back to being arm candy, because you kind of suck.
Well, she's getting booed now. I don't know if you noticed, but whenever she opens her mouth now, the audience hates her. They boo her.
Good.
And they just chant, Rusev Day, Rusev Day.
I'd rather hear Rusev Day than her talk, so that's another thing. She's the ravishing Russian. Where the frick did her accent go?
Oh, she gave that up a long time ago. I'm my favorite part of her Russian gimmick that she did was when the crowd would boo her, she would go, "Shut up! Shut up!" That made me laugh every time. I miss her doing that.
Oh my god. Oh, yeah. Those were the days.
Well, then we got on to the releases. WWE released 4 wrestlers over the past weekend, and they started talking about the Ascension and the Ascension's downfall. They started talking about it was probably their makeup or something. I have an opinion on this. I believe the Ascension was ruined because of their shit promos. Whoever gave them the line, "We're born and bred to rip and shred," that's when the Titanic started sinking for them. It was over after that. Nobody took them serious, and they just became a joke gimmick. Did you ever like the Ascension?
No, I didn't even like them when they were They were in NXT for a while, right?
They were super badass in NXT. Like the crowd would chant. They would count down how many seconds the match would last because they would just destroy everybody.
But when I noticed that when they came to the main roster, I wanted to give them a chance, but it's like, like you said, it was shitty not gimmick, but shitty promos, and that one line, it was like, why would creative make you say that?
I'm surprised they agreed. Maybe they were afraid to speak up, because they were new. They're like, we'll just say what they say, and maybe it'll work. But my God, did it ruin them?
And I really liked the gimmick that they had. It was cool. It was kind of creepy and intimidating.
Hopefully, wherever they end up next, they get put over big time because they are talented. They just got They got shit promos and nobody took them. They got teamed up with the Fashion Police, and there's no way they're gonna get taken serious again.
No, that's another thing. That was stupid of anyone to put the Ascension with the Fashion Police. You guys are basically, the Ascension became the laughing stock of the locker room.
Well, yeah, and during that time, the tag division was at its worst. Like they disrespected the tag division so badly that thank God that the Usos and the Revival and the New Day are bringing it back up.
Yes,
those were some dark times. Well, this week,
I'm trying not to be mean or be like, I agree with everything that you said, because now when I watch tag matches, I'm actually genuinely invested in the matches.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The one thing what bums me out about the Usos now is they don't come out with the face paint anymore, and that was my favorite part about them.
Oh, you like the face paint? What about their little chant they did before they went into the ring? Did you like that?
They did what, the haka? Yeah,
their family heritage stuff.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. It was like a nice little nod to their family.
It was good. all tag teams have to evolve though, so maybe eventually they'll go back to it. But
Yeah.
moving on, the LOL line of the week for me was when they were discussing, I believe it was during the Instagram questions about sucking dick, and they were talking about who would you rather suck dick, Tom Hanks or Woody Harrelson, and Jake said, "Oh, Tom Hanks for sure, man." And Zanka goes, "Oh, fuck that guy." He said, "I'm not sucking his AIDS-infested dick." That was the line that popped me at work. I had to run into one of the bathrooms so I wouldn't look crazy after he said that.
And honestly, of course, Jake would say Tom Hanks.
Yep, exactly. The Toy Story thing, and of course, Zanka would say Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, because it's rough because I wouldn't be able to do that to the man that portrayed Mr. Rogers. I'd be like, I'm sorry, this is wrong.
Listen, Forrest Gump, you get Jenny to suck your dick. I'm not sucking it. Well, the runner-up.
Just jogging, Jenny.
Thanks for giving me AIDS, Jenny. No, the runner-up LOL line of the week was, I'm going to play a sound clip for you. It was Zanka talking about Liv's return.
Okay.
It's a Firefly Funhouse thing.
Or she just comes and pulls out her fucking ham wallet.
Well, that'd be
shows the
different.
world, dude.
Everyone would love that, including us.
And it's got a blue tongue like her tongue.
I don't...
It's very difficult to not laugh out loud when you hear shit like that. I love his sense of humor. I'm still shocked that you listen.
Ham wallet.
Yeah, and it has a blue tongue as well. Oh my god, that was funny. Oh my god. Okay, well, then we move on to the Instagram and Facebook questions. I noticed that Jake, he mentioned that his clenched butthole has a different noise than Zanka's clenched butthole, and Zanka asked him to demonstrate, and here's that sound clip.
That's my prolapsed anus. My butthole is like...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you notice that his clenched butthole noise sounds like the saviors from The Walking Dead's whistle? I don't know if you watched The Walking Dead, but Jake's clenched butthole is a savior, I guess.
Yeah. Saved by Jake's butthole.
What are your thoughts on their butthole sound effects? Does that make you laugh, or you're just like, come on, guys?
It's pretty funny. It doesn't take a lot to make me laugh, so...
Well, that's good. You're listening to the perfect podcast, then.
Oh yeah, that's why I try not to laugh too hard when I'm listening to any of you guys the podcast at all, because I'm just like, I don't want people to think I'm fucking nuts.
Well, we had a new rivalry start this week on the After Party podcast, and it actually directly affects your Sam. Because Sticks Adam is taking it to Sam now with his Facebook hashtags. Hashtag Andy broke that wrestling guy. Hashtag that wrestling fraud. Hashtag Aussie ass clown. This is interesting. Sticks Adam is sparking up a feud with Sam that wrestling god. Who is going to come out on top this time?
I don't know who that Sticks Adam guy is. What the fuck? Why are you coming for my friend, bro?
Sticks Adam is the leader of the hashtag World Order. He's the one that reminds all of us the history of all the Zanka's funny sayings. And it's going to be interesting to see if Sam does respond. He might not respond, but we'll see what the wrestling god has in store for Sticks Adam.
Well, that Sticks Adam guy is overcompensating for a small penis, so that's one. And he probably reposts or, shares Zanka's sayings because he wants to secretly go on a date with him.
You know what? That's understandable. I'd go on a date with Zanka too.
That dude has a nice beard.
A red beard, apparently.
What?
That's what he said. His beard's red.
Is he full ginge or half ginge?
He's half ginge because he said his pubes are regular. Well, moving on. Cynic Chaos's Instagram question was, I believe, the question of the week for me, because he did some fantasy booking about the Firefly Funhouse. He said he set up this scenario, which I was a huge fan of. He said that the next week on SmackDown, that Magician Bray should come back, wave his magic wand over the puppets. The puppets then disappear into a fog. The lights go out in the arena, and the individual lights come on with Aleister Black wearing the Ramblin' Rabbit mask, Liv Morgan as Abby the Witch, Otis as Huskus, and Lars as the Buzzard.
Oh my god!
And he said that The Miz would get tied. They beat up The Miz, drag him backstage into a dark room. A TV would play the Firefly Funhouse, and the new host of the Firefly Funhouse would be a bald, brainwashed Daniel Bryan. That is a fucking excellent scenario, man. They should be listening to Cynic Chaos and his booking, because I dig it.
Oh my god, that like gave me chills. Yeah. Why is he not working as a creative for WWE? That would draw in so much. Oh my god, the ratings would go through the freaking roof.
Cynic Chaos has a very brilliant mind when it comes to wrestling. He's a backyard wrestler, and he had his own federation, and they would have storylines as well that were very interesting. I interviewed him last week. Go ahead and check it out. Mm-hmm. Cynic Chaos is Jason Atlas. That's his wrestling name. The Disease, Jason Atlas. It's very impressive, but I love that. I got a kick out of his scenario, and I hope someone from WWE is listening.
Yeah, same. I don't think I followed him back on Instagram because I was like, who is this?
Oh,
but I was actually watching or listening to the interview that you did with him, and I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, he's big into TikTok as well. I'm not really sure what that is, but follow him on TikTok because he does some funny stuff on there.
TikTok is basically Vines with, like, you're basically lip syncing to a clip of an audio clip or something. I think that's what it is.
Is it 7 seconds?
I think so.
Yeah, I know there's music involved, but I'm not too familiar with like the purpose of it. I guess it's just something a fun app or something.
I think so. It's just I guess there's a girl that looks exactly like Ariana Grande who does TikToks of her. And that's how I was introduced to TikTok. And I'm like, yeah, I'm too old for this crap.
Shit, I'm too old for Snapchat. I tried it once. I was like, nope.
You're like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I use Snapchat, but I also have like five nieces and two nephews. Well, biologically 5 nieces and 2 nephews, and my sister-in-law and my younger brother send me snaps of my 2 nieces, so I keep it for that purpose.
Oh, so it's just sending videos?
It's like you can send pictures, videos. There's Snapchat filters that you can make yourself look like a dog or a bear or something. It's fun, but it's whatever.
I'm gonna stay on Facebook like the rest of the dinosaurs.
Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, that's basically
Twitter,
me.
But I don't use it.
Oh, you do?
I'm like, what the fuck is Twitter?
I go on Twitter for all the wrestling drama, because you know how Seth is running his mouth on Twitter, and Becky was taking shots at Ronda. It was very entertaining.
I saw that. I like how the tweets get posted on other wrestling Instagrams. I'm like, damn. I thought like wrestling was already pretty not petty, but really like exhausting, and you wouldn't have time for any of this BS, but apparently not. Oh yeah,
WWE is very relevant and presented on all social media platforms, and they're all encouraged to promote their stuff on there. But next we have another rivalry started. So we got 2 rivalries on one show started within the Steel Real universe. Now Julius _ Caesar is taking a shot at Andy with an I, challenging him for his decent championship on APPW. Julius Caesar dropped this line: "You can't eat salad with a spoon," which popped the host and popped myself as well. Great line from Julius_Caesar. And then Andy responds by saying, "You couldn't hold Jake's micro penis, let alone my decent title." So we are booking Julius Caesar versus Andy with an I for the decent championship on the next APPW. It should be very entertaining. So if you are interested in watching a bunch of video game characters beat the shit out of each other, go ahead and check it out, because soon Brittany Bomber will be making her Stone Cold debut on the female roster.
Hey!
Well, thank you very much.
I'm honestly really looking forward to it. I'm going to hopefully kick someone's ass.
You're going to be stomping mud holes in China's clit.
I'm afraid my foot would get lost.
Oh, yeah, you would definitely lose a shin. Is there anything you want to plug, Brittany?
I might have to just plug myself.
Go for it.
I am Brittany Bomber, and not my hashtag, but my handle on Instagram is at Brittany Bomber, BrittanyBomber.
And she's just joking. She's just joking, FBI. If you're listening, she's just joking.
I'm not. I won't hurt anybody. I promise.
She's not Al Qaeda. We're all good.
Yeah. God no. What else? Is there anything else I want to plug?
Do you the Facebook or
Oh, I do have a Facebook, and my name is Brittany Bomber on that as well.
Well, there you go. Go ahead and give her a follow. After Party Universe. Thank you for your time, Brittany Bomber. I hope you had a good time on the Hangover.
Well, thank you for having me. I definitely enjoyed myself.
There's a long time coming. I'm really glad we got another female perspective on here. And as always, were you going to say something?
I was going to say, hey, anytime.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. And as always, all hail Linda's Bush. Thank you once again to all of the guests I had on this week's Hangover episodes. Thank you at Brittany Bomber. Thank you at Andy with an I. Thank you at Peter Wayne Kent. And as always, thank you at Julius_Caesar. Alrighty, here come the plugs. If you want to follow the Still Real After Party podcast on Instagram, it's at Still Real to Us. Pay attention to their weekly posts. That's how you can ask the Instagram questions. You want to follow the host of the Still Real After Party, it's at After Party Jake, at After Party Zenka. On Facebook, you just search for Still Real After Party and then hit that like button. If you want to cover up them nips with some Still Real merchandise, as always, shop.spreadshirt.com/stillrealafterparty. And go ahead and pick up the new logo for the After Party Hangover shirt. Thank you, Jake, for making that. Also, the APPW will be returning very soon with a new episode. Check that out on the Still Real After Party YouTube page. And the big debut, Andy with an I's new show, Still Real Pregame, dropped its first episode previewing TLC. Check that out now. It's very entertaining. Subscribe to his channel as well. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. And, as always, wubba lubba dub dub, I'm Pickle Rick, bitch!